What's up, y'all? This is Jeffery at Jeffery TV, coming to you live on Memorex from the ultimate remote location. Happy Sunday, boys and girls. Where do I begin? It's been a whirlwind. First of all, I guess you got to start off. Granddaughter steals the show. Personality, energy, responsiveness. She's actually funny. She does things, she performs. She don't stop. Does not stop. Only time she stops is when she sleeps. Short of time, it seems like. As soon as she wake up, it's on. It's just on. And it's on in a good way. In that you don't want to stifle it. You know, you want to encourage it because it's such a pure curiosity and energy and exploration, and want to try this, want to do that, want to be engaged, want to be stimulated. And I just ain't used to, look at me, look at me. I'm like, oh my God, girl. I've only been here with it. I watched her yesterday. I had her for 3 hours by myself, 2-3 hours, just me and her, and it was cool. But you gotta keep, you gotta do something. You just ain't nothing. You gotta have something. And usually, most times, she'll respond to whatever it is. It doesn't even, it could be anything. It probably could be washing dishes. It doesn't matter. Long as she's engaged in doing something. So last night, she liked going in the basement. So I was kind of lazy yesterday. We'll go into all that. Just the whole whirlwind. Flying into DC on the 14th. Going to the show that night. Sleeping in the car. Behind an apartment building from a Spot Hero parking lot, surrounded by rats, to the point where I didn't even want to get out of the car to smoke a black and mild. I was like, I'm cool. I was sitting just watching the rats run around, just literally watch them, do whatever they're doing. It was just so many of them. Ate my food, barely. It was kind of weird to eat my food watching rats run around, but I was hungry. And once I got in the car, I was like, oh boy, I got to get out to get something out the trunk. But thank God the seats, I was able to pull the seats down and reach in the trunk and get what I needed so I didn't have to get out. Shoot, I barely wanted to crack the window. But I survived it. They actually got probably a couple hours sleep every hour or whatever. Made it to the airport, flew to Cleveland, got a car. And then going to, I think it was DC. I had rented a car, and that was to be picked up at the at Union Station. They had them all listed together, for DCA under rentacars.com. They had all these listed together. One was at some other offsite place, and there was another offsite place. But it wasn't the ones you catch the shuttle, like on the airport. And I literally recognized that when I was walking on the jetway to get on the plane to go there. So I knew I had to get that straightened out before the plane took off. because I probably wasn't gonna pay no $20 for Wi-Fi to get it straightened out. And I'm thinking about time constraint. Landing at 3:40. Doors to P-Funk open up at 7. And I wanted to be there early. And thank God I was, because there was people in line. We kind of, talked and buddied up. I was able to go change my clothes and come back because I was there so early. I just, I had nothing to do, so I just walked around. Walked over there, see what was up. Then walked back to my parking space. It was still daytime, so there wasn't no rats running around. They held my spot. We had a good time. Talking, exchanging stories, doing this, doing that. It was nice. It was nice. It was really nice. They held my spot and I came back. Got in there. First one in the venue. Secure front row center for DC show, which was a special show if you ask me, because of the things that P-Funk did and didn't do. Pointed out to me that they didn't do One Nation, they didn't do Cosmic Slaw, also they didn't even do Flashlight, because Mr. Clinton allowed maybe more than one song, definitely a couple songs, maybe 2-3 songs, to just vamp out like the old days, where the band was just able to just lay in it and just keep playing it for like 10, 15 minutes, whatever. That's probably, longer, exaggerated. But it was just good just to stay in there. And that, to me, is special. And they played like a song, I think it was Booty. They're doing Booty to a go-go beat, which was interesting. Well, the go-go, I like Prelude, Mr. Lewis. I was talking to him before the show for a good little while. He was talking about this, talking about that. Just hanging. Saw Mr. Boyer before the show. It's just good. I go and here comes Sandra Morgan, Julia walked by. Rufus was there. Rufus Tom. It's something being Jeffery and going places under the P-Funk energy, under my P-Funk energy, or that P-Funk mood, or that P-Funk aura. And having acquaintances, knowing folks knowing me. Because I told them, I said, I remember how I felt the last time Eugene Chapman was there. I remember how I felt last time Brian was there, a dude who helped us win the trivia game at Funketeers Ball. It goes on and on and on. What was I gonna say? I forgot. Anyway, it was good. So that was an experience to have, and it was wonderful, and it was all that. So, I had to let this guy go. He kind of pulled out, but he did give me that look like, oops, I messed up. But it wasn't like no apologetic messed up. It was more like, oh, I got you, hold on, that's on me. It wasn't no all, oh, I'm sorry. No, it wasn't that kind of look. It was like, oh, I got you, dog. This is on me. Yeah. Forget what I was saying. But here we are at the ultimate remote location. I'm finally catching my breath. My weight is up. I knew it would be. This morning I'm 208.8, whereas one time in the not too distant past, I was 201, 202, 203, but I knew that was coming because the way I've been eating and the life I've been living. Not sure if I told y'all my disability has been extended. Well, the doctor wrote the release, to extend it. And now I gotta go and then MetLife denied my claim because they couldn't get in contact with the doctors or something for some paperwork for the first claim. So I gotta go through all that paperwork, get all that straightened out. And I'm not too much worried about it because I'm almost 100%, I'm pretty much sure I'll get retro if I don't, I'll get paid retroly. So I just gotta get it together. And I finally have time to stop and do that tomorrow. Today is the day when granddaughter's with her father. So we get a break. Oh my God, we need it. My God, we need it. Because here's I flew, did the show, came here, and once you get here, between granddaughter and daughter, it's on. And that was Thursday. So, you just don't walk in and say, oh, I'm gonna lay down. Well, actually, I think I was able to take a nap or two. I actually think I was able to take a nap. And then I got up and me and granddaughter went for a walk or something. I forget how we did it. Something we did. I think we went for a walk or something. Yeah, we did. We went for a walk. Because I had to finish some more steps because I had got steps earlier or something. And then, we hung out, I did think I was able to get a couple hours sleep. I do think that was the case. And then, we hung out and then Friday, that was Thursday. And Friday, there was a party. The Cleveland Brown fan had his birthday party at this place in Niles. It was like 50 people there. Had like banquet room and dinner and everything all served up and, So that was Friday. So Thursday, I think there Friday. Yesterday, didn't really do much. Went over to Cleveland. How do I call them? My ex-wife and her husband house. He's a Cleveland Brown fan. I mean, how do I designate that? What are they? What's the generic term? My ex-wife-in-laws or something? My ex-wife husband-in-law? Because he's so cool. I be hanging with him. And me and the ex get along now. To the point, it was like, it was nothing. It was just like blah. It's so good. I'll be hanging out over there, chilling. In fact, they barbecuing and stuff today, doing ribs and whatnot. I don't know if I'm gonna make it. I'm tired. I need a day. I need a day to shut it down and not talk to nobody. Probably could be tomorrow, but I need a day where let's just shut it all down. Sandwich factory. One of these days I'm gonna go to the sandwich factory. Don't I say that every time? So I'm here. I still ain't seen nobody that rode by my old house that I grew up in, the house that my father owned, that I spent a lot of time in. Also, it's still standing. Look like it's slated for demolition though. I think I might go up on the porch, drive over there, go up on the porch and see what the sign says. The post is on there. And then I got a house across the street. But, I don't go on that side of the town anymore. I call that the ultimate route. I'm at the ultimate remote location. And when I walk that way, down past, where I grew up and really where I used to, a real stomping ground. I'll call that the ultimate route. But I am not inclined to go that way anymore. I'm cool, not just, I'm cool just letting that go by and not, messing with it. Just drive by, see what I gotta see, get a couple pictures, see the old neighborhood. And then, been down in the park, oh my God. Mill Creek Park, me and granddaughter were down there, found a nice little walking trail. Oh my God. And what they did was, they blocked off the street. So you got like the whole street down through the park. And it's like, it was the main street that went around Outdoor Park. I mean, that street was, because we was going around Outdoor Park. You get to see the Wildcat, you get to see all the rides in there. It was just so exciting. That street was like major in life. Especially you going out in the park. You get to ride see behind the Wildcat, Lost River. You go up around, see where the bumper cars was. That street is closed down. So you just walk now. So basically I'm walking that street and I'm looking at the fence. I could probably just walk up on the property where the fence is torn down some. I can just walk up on the property. I kind of want to, it would be fun to go up there and explore, the old outdoor park grounds. So everything is, tore up, and I'm pretty sure excavated, salvaged, and people probably, tore up everything, got everything out of there. But you never know. You might find like not like a trinket, but like a little something to remind you. Because Outdoor Park was big. You little. Outdoor Park was a big deal. I can carry this like this. Outdoor Park was a big deal. So we just walk in there, me and granddaughter. It's a street, no cars, pretty much no people. We just have to watch out for bikes. So I was just able to, started walking the street, need some distance between me and her. So you better come on, walk up. And then I realized what I have to do is I'm gonna have to walk. And once the distance gets, kind of big, walk backwards to her and walk up again, like do loops almost around her. But I made her butt walk that damn near all them 4 miles. In fact, she had to. I tried to carry her, I couldn't. So we probably did about 3 miles walking. And then last night, to kill time, I went in the basement. She loved going to the basement. In the basement, started doing my laps, and she running. I'm the police, stop. You the robber. And she running. And I'm walking at a, upbeat pace. She running. We do that about 10, 15 minutes. When I was working, my 15-minute break, we go down there. It's like, I'm going to the basement. You ready to go to the basement? She's like, go to the basement. Get that on. So, she used to us walking. So you want to go for a walk? Yeah, I'm ready to go. Went to the mall yesterday. And walking. Twice got run over by those toy unicorn, fluffy mobile rides. If you ever see them, I guess they're electric or whatever, the kids can ride them. Even parents can ride them. You can ride them with their kids, they're fairly big. Got hit by twice. Side swiped the stroller. I'm like, what the heck? Side swipe, side swipe? Well, it's T-bone basically almost. T-bone the stroller, kids driving, not paying attention, So, I was at the mall walking, getting steps. It's just, I love it back here. Look what they did. Doc's radio's gone. They changed the sign, Brothers Market. Indian grocery and sweet shop. Uh-oh. Look at that. There used to be Doc's Radio on TV. I guess it's gone. Wholesale retail, Brothers Market, Indian supermarket. Grand opening. Look at that. You see it here. They got an ATM inside. Look at that. It's good to see. Well, I don't know if it's good is the word that I really mean, but I would say it's promising to see a diversity of things back here. Not that I think it'll succeed, because I'm from here. I don't like no damn Indian food. And I've been exposed to the California lifestyle of all different kinds of cuisines and this and that. Some of that stuff, I know it's, it's cool and what's the word when you do stuff because it's trendy. It's trendy to, like all the new stuff. Oh, look, the waterfall's open again. Winter's over. The trees, I talk about the trees. Everything green. Remember last time I was walking over here, they had it covered up because it was frozen. Waterfall's open. Me and granddaughter come up and check it out, I'm sure. Yeah, I know. You're supposed to Thai food and this kind of food and that food. Sushi's the one that got me though. For, I was, back here, people, they ain't eat no raw fish. They ain't about sushi. But sushi got me about 20 years ago. I tried it. That spicy tuna roll, oh my God. Whew. Take me there. But some of that stuff, Thai food, this and that, man, whatever. I just won't be trendy. I won't be cool. Oh well. I think I'll survive. And that's the kind of people or the kind of environment that I like to put on this place, whether it's true or not. So I always say, I love that I'm from here. I'm very proud, and I love that I'm from here. And what was instilled in me, the way I feel about things, how I look at things, the core of my being, pretty much, comes from this foundation. I got the foundation. Oh, speaking of that, I met Miss Mark, my most favorite teacher ever, 3rd grade. Oh my God. In fact, it wasn't long ago where I was searching the internet and Facebook and all that for her. I remember her name, Yvonne Mark, Yvonne B. So I was looking just to see, you just laying around here. And turns out she works with Joe. She was there. And I walked by her first, and I thought I heard her name, but I wasn't sure. And she said, you look familiar. So I said, oh. I was thinking, probably because she saw Jeffery, my son. They talk later. He said, that's Miss Mark. I was like, oh my God. I jumped right up, went over there. And started pouring my heart out. She was like, yeah. Yeah. She may not have remembered me, which I find fascinating because, after all, I am Jeffery Scott Mitchell. But, she may have reminded me. But overall, it was funny and weird for me to be way more excited about it than her. I'm not used to that. So I think that's what I'm dealing with. I think I'm dealing with being on that side of the meeting or energy, to where I was way more excited about it than her. Well, at least that's the way it came off. Maybe she just, like from back here and not so demonstrative about feelings and more, either way. But she was telling me how she still keeps in touch with a lot of people, went to school with. Earl. She said, yeah, I just saw Earl. She said she's talking to Cheryl Murphy and them, every so often. They text, they still text and stuff. They still keep in touch. Thought I lived in LA and all that, but I was super excited. I was just super excited. And I guess what I just realized saying this is that I'm experiencing what it's like to be more excited than at the meeting than the other person. And that might sound arrogant, but it's my experience. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but it's kind of rare. It's kind of rare. So, I got to see her, got a selfie, I didn't think she was still alive, to be honest with you. She talked about the teachers who was there, Miss Perry, Miss Cromer. So I started name dropping. It was good. It was good till I remember when she got married, her name changed, all of that. How we studied Washington, D.C. in her class. In the previous summer, I had just went to Washington, D.C. It was the only one in the class that had ever been there. So it was still fresh in my mind. So you can imagine during that class how I was. You can just imagine. Jefferson Moore, been there. Nico Moore, been there, got pictures. I'll draw it for you. All of that. The whole thing. And then it was Joe's birthday party. She stay in touch with all these people. It was probably been 50 years since, me and her had, she seen me when we talked or whatever. She stayed in touch with those people. So, and Joe was like, that was my favorite teacher. And I told her, you was my favorite teacher. And she said, that's what Joe said. And it was his birthday. And I was like, he had dibs on that. So, usually, when I say something like that to somebody, I'm Jeffrey Scott Mitchell, damn it. But I had to stand down. I accepted, and I know I had to just go with my feelings, just enjoy my feelings, live in my feelings, be in my feelings. It's not about how the other person feels, and how the other person feels shouldn't. I try not to let it affect my experience or my feelings of the experience. And see, you can see I'm dealing with it. You can see I'm dealing with it. I ain't gonna lie. You can see I'm dealing with it. Let me take a picture. I gotta take a picture. No, that's not the picture taking, but I wanna take a snapshot. I can't. I wanna take a snapshot. I want to take a snapshot. I want to get the snapshot, but I can't because I gotta actually press the button. So you can see I'm dealing with it. I deal with my feelings. I'll deal with my whatever. I ain't ashamed. I ain't ashamed at all. I thought this is very important. This was a big deal for me. It was a big deal for me. It's like one of those things that you want to do before you die thing. And that was one of them. There's one more. There's another person that I want to meet right up on and see before my existence ends, and I'm going to keep that to myself. Because all y'all probably know who it is already, and I ain't trying to have it thrown back in my face. Not that I give a damn about any of y'all. Y'all can all kiss my ass. See how people get it. Oh, I love it. That's that little, whatever that was, coming back like that is something that I attribute to Youngstown. That growing up in that kind of culture, to where, it's taken with a grain of salt, but you understand that there's something there. You shouldn't feel threatened like you're going, but you should wake up, okay, this person is trying to relay some emotion. And that's the way of doing it. That's why I say I'm very proud that I'm from here. I'm very proud that I got that in me. I'm proud that I know how to do that, because I know some people who don't. And a lot of them from California. They just don't know how to say no. They don't know how to set boundaries. They're so worried about what other people think that it's hard for them to carve out a healthy existence for themselves, etc., etc., etc. Is that backwards? Man. See, that should be backwards. Or should it? I can't remember. Is that? See. So if I turn around, that'll be. Well, let me stop doing that, but look. Alright, I know. See, that's his right. Okay. Maybe because I'm shooting. I don't know. I'll figure it out later. But I'm back here. The weather's kind of blistery. I don't know what blistery means. But, it's cloudy. Probably about 62, 63 degrees, 64 degrees. There's no Bank of America's here. You got to go to Cleveland to get a Bank of America. In fact, I'm going to Google, find out what ATM I should use here without getting charged an arm and a leg. Since there ain't no Bank of America's right here. Of course, you can go to the grocery store and get cash. ATMs be trying to charge $3.95, $5.95. I ain't for that. So it's kind of, I guess, blistery. It is definitely windy. I don't know if you can hear the wind. It is definitely I wouldn't even call it a chill to the air, but it's definitely a coolness to it. And even though it's blue skies, there's no direct sunlight. Most of the sun is being blocked. It should be about maybe 1:30, 2 o'clock, I'm guessing. So the sun should be like, right about it. See, the sun should be like, I was thinking, pretty much up and high in the sky. I'm thinking probably right behind those clouds right there. So I'm laying in the bed. I wake up at 8. So I'm actually waking up at a relatively good time. I think I laid in bed 2.5 hours. Just scrolling Facebook, just enjoying the quiet, knowing granddaughter ain't gonna come stomping downstairs. It was nice though. When I woke up after, I did take a nap. As I woke up in the I was like, give me some grapes. Give me some grapes. She go in the refrigerator, give me grapes. See, that's all new. Her being able to do stuff like that is definitely new to me. You know. And to be honest with you, they still kind of treat her like a baby. I'll be like, because there's certain things that she does with me. No, there's certain things that she does, you know, with her mother and grandmother that she won't do with me. Wine is one of them. And like there's times where, you know, they got to hold her hand. And she'll just take off running or whatever. She don't do that with me. We seem to get along. She seems to like me. Even though I do definitely, like Kimberly said, I maintain who's the authority. You know, there's a line. We can have fun, we can do this, we can do that. But hold up. Hold up. Because I take it personally. I know she a toddler. I know she 3. I don't give a damn. I take it personally. That's with anybody. 8 to 80, no matter how old you is. And I think that, and I'm just recently learning, that it may not be advantageous or optimal for me to treat everybody equally. I just hold everybody to the same standard. I don't care if you, now, but I don't expect granddaughter to come at me at the same level as an adult, but the core respect or the core whatever has to be there. You don't be hollering at me. Who you hollering at? Better watch that. Slow down now. I know you kind of joking, playing, and imitating, but hey. You know, and I'm saying it a lot more tougher than I enforce it, but I let her know. Like I told her, you ain't got no leverage. You ain't got no job, you ain't got no money. And then I went on, and then I was like, and I was getting ready to say that you don't bring no benefits. That's definitely not true. That is definitely not true. She might bring the biggest benefit this family has had in a very long time. It's the way, you know, we all come together around her. Like she brought, you know, people together and all that. Family around her, and how she could, and I was telling her how she earned the right to be spoiled. She holds that position, you know, personality-wise, learning, doing things, being not amiable, but accommodating. You know, she could be an asset to a very small degree, but you know, that little small degree is a lot considering. You know, like I said, if she could get me grapes out of the refrigerator while I'm still in bed, that's not a lot, but that's something. For her, I mean, she's 3, you know. And just the joy you get from her having her, because she's so appreciative, she's so curious and so inquisitive, and just want to experience everything. And just to be able to take her out and have her experience stuff, and just to participate in that, that's just a benefit. And she upholds that. She has a responsibility. I say, you know, of course they can say, no, she had no responsibility, she used to be herself. No, she got it's a metric. It's a level that I expect. Because we are raising children. We are building something. It's like building a student. You have tests. And you got to learn things. And there's metrics and there's certain levels you should be at. Yeah, we just love them. Oh, we're going to love her anyway. Yeah, we will. But we'll love her a lot more if they're capable. We love them a lot more if they're capable and ain't angry and throwing tantrums all the time and breaking things and can't do nothing with them and they don't want to never do nothing. You know, just have a bad attitude. She got a good attitude, always willing, always ready to go. No matter, like I said, no matter what it is you want to do, she's there for it. As long as you're doing something. As long as you're doing something. And if she ain't no pushover, she say what she like, what she don't like. I don't like that. I don't want that. And I gotta watching her tone, how she talk to me. I understand what she's trying to relay. But hey, you know, take that little bit off your voice when you say that. And you say nope. I think they teach you how not to say nope. You know how to say no properly. Cause see, I ain't the no sir, no ma'am, yes sir, yes. You don't gotta do that. But there's a way you can say no politely or with respect to an elder. And it ain't nope. You know, she don't know. You know, so we gotta let her know. Like I said, I take it personal. I take it personal. So no, you ain't gonna come up thinking that's cool and funny and talk to me that way. And she responds. And of course she responds. It's like, you know, 1 minute devastated, the next minute she's smiling and laughing. You know, it bounced right off of her. Like I said, so she steals the show. She easily, and then got to hang out with grandson number 2. He got something that I think I see. It's just awareness. You can see in his eyes looking around. Just awareness. He's 10 months old. Always smiling, always happy. Just always just happy. Laughing. He was laughing. He was laughing and smiling before I thought it was possible for him to do that. And you see his eyes, and I got to play with him. He got his glow sticks. Too much now. Wasn't doing too much. But he didn't put him in his mouth at first for a long time. He would grab him, hold him, try to manipulate him, kind of like swing him. My face is like try to hit me with them and like that. And then when they fell on the ground, I would push them down. I'd reach them down there so he could grab them. I did that for all the kids. I did that to all the kids. I did that to Jeffery. Nearly all of them. Reach down there and grab him. The child was really good at it. And I'll lean her down and then I would go faster and faster. And she was grabbing it. My niece, I remember her, she used to grab it. Of course, she tried to put it in her mouth, but if it fell on the ground, fell on the floor, whatever. I reached him down there, and she's, got to eyeball it, reach out, get that exterior, grab it. And he was doing that. And this was like a little glow stick thing. It wasn't the biggest thing. It was like thin. It was like long, but it was thin. He was able to reach down there and grab it with his hand. And he had one in each hand for a while, which made it kind of cool. And then he had one in each hand. Then I tried to give him something else. And I seen him watch there, trying to figure out, how he was going to do that. Like, you have to let one of them go. So, then we just playing, he laughing, and looking around. And then yesterday, he came over to an ex-wife house. I got to figure, what do I call him, ex-wife house? That's who it is, ex-wife house, her Joe. I got to figure out what to call that. Because I be spending way too much time over there. And I am kind of proud of the situation. Oh, shit, I'm very proud of the situation. How we all get along. Very, very proud. Plus, like I said, even though he's a Browns fan, they be cooking. That's where I go. And I've said before, I don't ask too many people to do anything for me. The most I'll probably ask anybody to do something for me is them. And that's to cook and host things. Whenever they want to do something. Go over there and eat and just kick back. I was going with the resort. And the way they got things laid out. Just the hospitality. And, oh my God. And it has something to do with social class, social status, definitely. Because we definitely, even though we're kind of taking it for granted, to a large degree that we probably don't even understand, we are definitely in the upper social class, like, talking about, buying the kids electric cars. Oh, this is only $300. I'm like, look, you gonna buy one? You gonna buy me a couch? Turn around, $1,000. You know, I was like, I'm doing $1,000. I just woke up, spent $1,000. And the bad part about it, I got it. It's just the point. And I thought about it yesterday. It's not so much the money, it's the time to think about it. And I think I'm gonna start acknowledging that and say, all right, give me a minute. Let me just think about it. You just can't hit me and expect me to say yes, because they will. I'm gonna buy one. Instead of be like, I'm gonna buy one. You buy the other. You just be spending money. You know, they like to get brand names, spend had the best and this and all that fanciness and whatnot. I'm like, ugh. You know, she'll spend some money. They will spend some money. I mean, they got it. I mean, we got it. You know, and that's her granddaughter, her first grandchild. And basically, as I was saying, that's maybe what she was built for. Maybe when it really comes down to it, that's what she was built for. To be that. But she is damn near sure good at it. That's for sure. Not that she wasn't good as a parent, but we were so damn young. Jesus. You know, we were so damn young and things were going on. We had to survive and this and that and this and that. And now we got a little cushion. I think she said, who was that? She said, she said, now she out with the grandkid. You know, now she can afford to go to McDonald's. You know, before, you know, we couldn't afford, we could take them to McDonald's. You know, that was a luxury. Now it's like, yeah. Grandkids. So, yeah, you can't say that. Granddaughter, that the grandkids are, they definitely provide a benefit that money can't buy. Easily. Very, very deeply and easily. But still, energy and attention, and I'm not used to giving my attention to something other than me for long periods of time. I'm not used to being engaged to the point she'd be like, look at me, I'm doing this. I'm like, yeah. I literally go, all right, I saw you do that 2 minutes ago. Because at least to challenge her to do something more innovative. I said, I saw that already. Like when she was doing that cutie face thing. Like, that don't work on me. That don't work on me. It work on your mother and them. And they do, both of them do. She do something, and at the same time, they both go, oh! Or they go, good job! And almost in unison. And they clap, dance, whatever she do. And I'd be like, yeah. But that's my job, damn it. That's my job. Also, I take her out, and we do stuff that they would never do. Something as simple as walking through the mall without holding her hand. And letting her get, 10, 15 feet behind me. Hell, we was walking on that bike path in that trail. It's probably 30, 40, 50 feet behind me. I had an eye on her and everything. And in my mind, there was no people around. And Joe got me thinking about coyotes. He be putting shit in my head. It's good. All right, I'll tell the story. Because, so Joe's birthday party, you know, people got up and talked. And my son got up and talked. Of course, he had to turn it out. You know, he had to take it to another level. That's just what he do. And he said, Joe, you're doing stuff that other men in his life didn't do. And at first it stung, you know, because I'm his daddy. It stung at first, but it also was exactly what I would have said if I was to get up there. I was going to say, you know, people are different. So people are different. And I always say that people are different, and thank God that they are. You know, because there's certain things that, you know, Joe's good at that I probably never will be or want to be. You know, and I'm appreciative of him to fill a role that's definitely necessary in my life. He fills a role that is necessary in my life because I need those people to be happy. And by those people, I mean my kids. And for my kids to be happy, their mother got to be happy. For my mother got to be happy, she needs that role. And he has the temperament, the understanding, and all that to fill that role. And gratefully so. It's like he wants to. It's like that's what he wants to do. And I can't fathom it. I cannot. I don't know. I just don't know. You know, and I truly appreciate it. It took me a long, long time to realize we ain't all the same and that we need different kinds of people. Here's the reservoir thing they built. The drainage thing. Remember how it was all dirt and stuff down there before? And then let the grass grow. It looks like it's a little walkway down there. I'll go down there one day. Remember they moved these rocks? I think these rocks were like over here and they moved them over. And they built like a little basin. A stormwater drainage or something. And then I guess you could walk around and do stuff. But, you know what I'm saying? That's exactly what I was going to say. And I've said it before. I even told Terry, I said, I don't know. You know, how I would have been raising kids directly for 20 years or something like that. I don't know. You know, you never know, though. With life, you never know. With life, you really never know. But for the most part, I see people who've done that. They kind of beat you down. They kind of like beat you down. Because it takes a lot out of you. To devote, you know, I don't know what it'd be like to have people to devote so much of my time and understanding and blah, blah, blah to something else. Because I love who I am now. I love the person I am now. I love how selfish I am, or whatever, confidence, arrogance, whatever you call it. Jeffery. Because I believe what I want to accomplish, I need to do that. I need to focus on me and put a lot of things to the side. Got to be able to say no to a lot of things. And everybody can't do that. Everybody can't do that. Everybody doesn't have the initiative or the gumption to pursue their own, you know, dreams and beliefs. And there's nothing in this universe I love and worship and appreciate more than being Jeffrey Scott Mitchell in this little experience I'm having right now. And I believe if I was there raising kids, I'd be a different thing. And I may appreciate and love that. You know, just the same, because I am resilient and basically capable of doing everything I want. But I think I've always been kind of selfish. I think it's always been, I tell my mother, y'all raised me like this. You know, so y'all raised me to think Jeffrey. Not to be a taker, you know, not that I take things, but it takes something to be able to be not a leader, but to accept that attention, that to put yourself in a position to develop and lead and to go outside of what society thinks and society says and have the confidence and the independence and all that. And I think if I was, to be that full-time parent, hands-on full-time parent, I don't know how much of this person I am now would be. And like I said, that's one thing I was going to say about Mr. Sutherland. He fills that role. I mean, they've been together for like 23 years. What the heck? You know what I mean? It ain't been easy. It ain't supposed to be. It got to be ups and downs, family. Squabbles, this and that. Tension, this here and there and that. It ain't supposed to be easy. You're supposed to generate like a track record or something accomplished, something that you overcame. It builds camaraderie, it builds team. We did this together, we got through that. Remember we had to get through this and how much that hurt? And we got by it and go through all of that. And it's time consuming. It's time consuming and energy consuming, and you can't even call it a distraction. It's almost like an implementation or a compartment. It's taking up space in your capacity to do things in a good way, in that situation. If that's what you want to be. I'm not sure I ever wanted to be that. I really am not sure if I ever wanted to be that. I said I did. I got married in earnest. We had kids in earnest. I was ready to give it a go. I swear I was. I was ready. I knew, but I would say, if I wasn't ready, I would say I knew what I needed to do. If I wasn't ready to stay married, I knew what I needed to do for them kids. I knew I was, locked in for the kids for, until 18. I never ever questioned that. It's just something it was inherent. I didn't even think about it. I was like, oh, this is going to cost me a lot of money. So I was just like, yeah, I got to be there for them. Here's how we're going to do this. Here's how we're going to work this out. But if I can get out of this marriage, I'll do anything for the kids. I'll do anything. Just let me get out of it. And not the marriage. And it really may not have been Terry. It may not have been the person. It may have been me. Just not feeling suffocated, but needing, room or space or whatever. That I don't know. But I do remember one time thinking when we was married and things were, not bad, but when something bad happened. And I was like, if I ever get out of this. I'm sure all married people have done that. I'm sure all married people have said, if I ever get out of this, I ain't never getting out of it again. And mine, because like I said, and it wasn't freedom to go out and mess with other girls or do that. I guess it was just a mental, I wanted my mental space to be much bigger or something like that. It's hard to say. I just needed room. I just wanted to, instead of having to think about another person, I wanted to think about me and what I want to think about and develop philosophies and study and play with computers and, build things, travel, and do that. Music, I guess, something like that. We're gonna put it right. Anyway, things worked out. It seems. I mean, things are always working out. Let's just say things are working out because everything is ongoing. Nothing is finished. And as I was saying, Mr. Sutherland Joe fills that role that I never ever could have. And, not to just, toot my own horn. There's things that I do that, he ain't about. He just, can't, it would be almost impossible for him to do. It's just not there. He's not wired or built that way. It's just, how that goes. It's just not wired or built that way to, do traveling or whatever, the lifestyle. He's not built there, to appreciate, and I don't want to say not to handle, he's not built to appreciate and fully utilize, exploit this lifestyle that I'm living, that I love so much. So it's a win-win. We go over there, hang out, talk stuff about the Brown, talk stuff about Steelers to eat, have good conversations, It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Me and Terry get along because there's nothing there. There's no obligation, responsibility, tangible. We kind of worked away from each other to become independent of each other. So that there's no, responsibility, obligation, or expectations. Expectation is the word. There's no expectations. And when there's no expectations, things go a lot easier. Or something like that. But that's one of the reasons why I like coming back here so much. Like right now, granddaughter's gone. I'm finishing up my walk. I'll get back. Kimberly probably awake, sitting on the couch. She's gonna go to work tonight. So I have the house a little quiet. Get some Jeffery time. And then prepare for a week. Tomorrow, I got salad stuff. I made grits. So I can have, a relatively healthy ain't the word, nutritious may not be the word, but I can have a fairly less intensive calorie days, eat my salads, and hopefully I can drop a few pounds by Friday and start the party on Saturday again. Something like that, we'll see. With the days off, it's gonna be fun. I gotta turn these days off into something. I gotta turn these days off into something. But y'all seen this walk before. Y'all seen this walk plenty of times before. Walking up that hill. This hill's up here in this place. Y'all seen this walk plenty of times before. I got it on the higher resolution because of the scenic content, the relevance of the scenic content to me. I have a good life. I do. I probably, you know what? I'll be seeing more women cut their grass. I think it's a statement. I think there's something more to it. It might be because they ain't got no men's, or it might be an empowerment thing, or something like that. But I think it's more to it. Because, maybe they just want to get exercise. Maybe they like being out. But there's something, there's got to be an added component. Because I see too many women out here cutting their grass, pushing that lawnmower. I mean, it got to be done. Maybe because, they want it to look nice. Or they don't want their house looking nice. Here's something. I know there's something. There has to be something else to it. They be out there too. Kimberly be out there too. She might be out there now. In fact, she might not be out. So right now they're going, a guy cut this grass. Because you got to catch grass back here. cutting grass back here is a thing. And I think it's required. In fact, on the couple of properties I had, I got fined. Or almost got fined. I think I got it taken care of. I got fined because I had to get the grass cut. So, I do see a lot of women out there pushing their lawnmowers. My daughter tried to get us to get her a zero-turn mower, or one of those riding mowers. They get the turns in or whatever, cut the grass. I mean, she got a sizable lot, but not that much. And I was like, basically I was like, well, I didn't quite say, you need to exercise. And I was like, I was wondering about the exercise. And my ex-wife was like, you don't need no lawnmower with no Gianna around, granddaughter around. Nope. She was like, nope. She was like, you don't need no, power mower like that with granddaughter around. You know, because she got to get out there and cut it. She got a lawnmower, you know. And I guess it might be like empowerment, you know. You don't need no man to cut my grass. There's got to be something else to it. And it's cool. I see a lot of women out there. And, well, I don't know about back here. It might be a little tough. But it seems like you should be able to pay somebody to cut your grass. Because don't nobody cut grass in California. We pay somebody. Because we're paying so much goddamn rent. A little bit of money to cut grass is nothing. You know, all those like documented workers, you may want to call them or whatever. But you know what I'm saying. I just wanted to say something like that. And when we was down in the park, we saw a deer. We said, please don't kill us. Because there's so many deer, the overpopulation. The park is so overpopulated, they allowed hunting. And of course, there's going to be some people who's like, don't kill him, don't kill him, don't kill him. Don't kill him. But the overpopulation, so many of them. In fact, I be seeing them where I grew up at, on the street, in the city, in the residential area. There'd be deer in the residential area. That's how many. Now, I ain't gonna say that's how many, but that's probably more of a return to nature. With all the houses being torn down, wooded areas, places where they can hang out. But anyway, well, I did over an hour. Look at me. I did over an hour. This file's gonna be huge. This file's gonna be huge, but it's gonna look good. But it's gonna look good. Gooder. How's that look? Does that look okay? Is that a decent shot with the front facing? Does the front facing shot look as good as the rear facing shot? Let me see. That's front facing. That's rear facing. Is there any difference? We can go ahead and front facing, rear facing. We can go ahead and figure that out. Anyhow, swinging on y'all 2 times. For me, for the phone. And for every elementary particle that has ever existed in any atom, in this, or in any universe that ever was, is, or will be, the totality of it all. Theory of universe. Hypothesis of all as one. Coming to you live from the ultimate remote location, Youngstown, Ohio. I love this place. I love being from this place. My name is Jeffery.